Greetings of the day. Welcome to the video tutorial on microprocessor microcontrollers W2110. This is the fifth lecture on 8051 microcontroller. In the previous lecture, I have discussed about the architecture and addressing modes of 8051 and instruction set of 8051 in detail. In this tutorial, I'll be discussing about how we can program 8051 using assembly language. So before we go to assembly language programming for 8051, let's look at what different types of languages we have for programming 8051. 8051 can be programmed in various different languages which can be categorized as machine language, assembly language, and a high level language. High level language like C and C++ or Python, that is not a part of this session today, but remaining two say programming languages are machine language and assembly language. What is a machine language? As I had discussed in the previous tutorial, machine language is set of ones and zeros which is meant for a particular application, particular operation. Since machine languages involve a set of ones and zeros, and it is difficult to remember for a human being, and using this it is very difficult to program also. Hence there is an alternative for this set of ones and zeros, like we use assembly language. So assembly language is a pseudo English representation for a machine language. It is almost a machine language only, but a set of ones and zeros are represented by certain English kind of pseudo English representation. For example, here the say assume the operation is to be performed between A and B, that is addition. So add the content of B register to the content of A register and assume that the content and the result should be in accumulator. So for this particular operation, there is a set of ones and zeros in a typical computer or a microprocessor or a microcontroller. Let it is 1 0 0 0 1 1 1 1 1. So this set of ones and zeros mean addition of adding the content of A and B, and the result will be in A register. So for this set of ones and zeros, we'll be using a mnemonic like ADDB. So this add B, content of A plus B will be added and the result will be an accumulator. This mnemonic says this particular operation. Since it is very easy to remember these kind of mnemonics than remembering these kind of mnemonics, hence all the set of ones and zeros like this which are having different operations will be having their particular a mnemonic, which is almost like English language, but they're not English like languages. They are pseudo English language. We say add space B. It is addition of, understood that it is addition of A and B, and the say implicit register is A, where the result will be stored. Okay, so since it is difficult to remember and program using machine language, whereas compared to the execution, the machine language is the fastest language with respect to the addition, but the difficulty involved in this is it is difficult to write an application using machine language, as we have to remember what set of ones and zeros are meant for what particular application. Hence in this place, instead of say this set of ones and zeros, we will be replacing that with a mnemonic. Okay, so assembly language are architecture oriented. That means they are very specific to particular computer architecture. For example, what mnemonics I have used for 8051 microcontroller, the same algorithm, same code cannot be used on different 8085 say microprocessor. So they are very specific to the computer architecture, and they are say architecture oriented. Okay, it is also a low level language, requires extensive understanding of architecture of a microcontroller. So these two are almost linked together, since they are low level languages, and to write an application using assembly language, we need excessive understanding of the architecture of that particular microcontroller. Then only it is very easy and very easy and say possible to write application using assembly language. So in conclusion, you could say the machine language is the fastest language which can be executed, whereas it is difficult to remember the set of ones and zeros for a particular application. That particular set of application set of ones and zeros may be given a specific mnemonic like here. Okay, then we can program very easily using these kind of mnemonics, and then again ultimately these mnemonics will be translated to this set of ones and zeros for execution. So if we program using assembly language, comparatively it will be easier to execute on a particular a microcontroller or a microprocessor. Let's look at an advantage of going for assembly language programming. Here, most of the comparisons of advantages are with the machine language, whereas it allows a complex job to run in a simpler way. The complex job or a complex application can be written in a very simple way using assembly language compared to a machine language. It is memory efficient as it requires less memory. Here we can have a comparison with the high level language. The application which is written in assembly language takes a very less memory compared to different higher languages. So it is memory efficient programming language. It is fast in speed as its execution time is lesser. So compared to higher level languages, execution of a application which is written in assembly language is faster compared to the higher level language application. So it is mainly hardware oriented. As I discussed, it is architectural oriented. That means assembly language programming is hardware oriented like architecture oriented. So every architecture will be having different instruction set and different programming mnemonics. Okay, so it requires less instruction to get a result. So if you are programming and using assembly language mnemonic, they need less number of instruction to be executed for a particular application. It is used for a critical job, of course, since the execution time is very less, and moreover it is memory efficient. So these kind of applications still they are used, still they are in use, and these programs or these applications, these programs can be used to write a critical applications. Okay, so it gives a direct and accurate control of all the microcontrollers resources like IO ports, RAM and SFRs. So when you are writing your application using assembly language, we get direct access and we can have an accurate control of the microcontroller resources like memory, like SFRs, like IO ports, IO devices. Okay, whereas it has less rules and restrictions compared to high level languages. Assembly language will be having lesser restrictions and lesser rules compared to high level languages. So there are these are various advantages of assembly language programming. Coming to the disadvantages, though we have a lot of advantages with 8051 or any assembly language programming, it comes with even disadvantages also. The major disadvantage of writing application assembly language is it takes lot of time and effort to write the code for an application. This is it is a time consuming when you say this is in comparison with the high level language, whereas if you compare this with the low level language, this takes less time and less effort to write an application. When we compare with the higher level languages like C, this application this type of programming takes bit more time and it takes more effort. Okay, it is a bit complex and difficult to understand unless we don't give any explanation to a particular line and all. It is very difficult to understand and they are little bit complexes. Okay, the syntax is difficult to remember. The syntaxes, though we have a mnemonic for a particular set of ones and zeros, but compared to high level languages like C, it is a bit difficult to remember the syntaxes of an assembly language. Then the major disadvantage of assembly language programming is it lacks of portability. That means what is portability? When you write an application on one architecture, it should be executed on different architecture, whereas this is not the case with assembly language programming. Here, assembly language programming lacks the portability. That means when you are writing a program for a particular application on 8051 using assembly language, that the same application may not be run on 8085 microprocessor or other microcontrollers like Atmega 328 and so on. These are major disadvantages of assembly language. So let's enter into how we can program 8051 using assembly language. So any assembly language in generic including 8051 will have this kind of syntax for assembly language. The first label we call it to be it is a label. The next is opcode. The next place is operand or operands and or address or addresses, then followed by the comments. When you are compiling, when you are assembling this code, these comments will not be compiled. They are only for the explanation and it increases the readability of the application which is written in assembly language. So these are the comments and which will be available only in the source code, but they will not be available in executable code. So what a label stands for? It is a symbolic name for a memory location. These are the names which are given to particular memory location. Opcode, it is an operational code, it is a mnemonic. Okay, then what I say here is like move, M-O-V-E. Move is a mnemonic here, whereas loop one is a label, which is a address for a looping or address for a particular memory. Say this is a label attached to a particular memory location. Then operands represents the data on which the operation is performed, a source and a destination. So these operands, it may be a direct register or it may be a address or addresses. Comments explanation of the code for a proper understanding. So this comment will explain what kind of these operations are. Say for example here loop 1 colon mov move a comma hash 21. This again say move data into the accumulator. This is a comment, an explanation for this particular instruction. It moves the data, immediate data, into accumulator. So these are the operands like this. These are the operands here. This is a mnemonic, an opcode. Then these are the labels. Sometimes we not have label also, like move a comma r1. Move the data from r1 to accumulator. Content of r1 will be moved to accumulator. Here we have just an opcode, a mnemonic, say operands, and a comment. We can remove even comment also. We can say move a comma r1. So these are the syntax of 8051 assembly language. Even it is generic syntax for any other microcontroller or a microprocessor programming in assembly language. Okay, so let's look at assembler and directives. The assembler is a program that converts assembly language into a machine language. It is the machine language will ultimately will be executing on a processor or a controller. So we need to convert in a some machine code. So it is a machine code which will be understood by a controller. Okay, so in whichever language you are writing, that it has to be converted into machine language. So if you are writing your application assembly language, we need an assembler. It is a program or a tool or a software which converts assembly language into a machine language. Similarly, it takes the basic commands and operations from the assembly code, converts them into machine code, and can be recognized by a specific processor. Then, along with the assembler, we have some assembler directives. Assembler directives, these are the instruction to the assembler and direct the assembler program what to do during the process of assembling. Okay. In addition to assembly language is specific to a particular microprocessor or a microcontroller, whereas to convert assembly language to a machine language, we need an assembler. When assembler is assembling, when it is converting your machine assembly language to a machine language, it needs to do certain tasks. Those tasks what an assembler should do when it is converting assembly language to a machine language, those are called as directives of the assembler. They are like typically few are here org. Set the origin, this is address from which the execution starts, that is origin. Then we can have a db defined byte, used to define a byte type variable. We can have different variables here in assembly language. Those variables we can declare, is it going to be 8-bit wide or it is going to be 16-bit wide. So if you are using db, we got to be defined byte. Similarly dw, it is a defined word. So then end, if we have another assembler directive, we have end. He used to stop the assembly process. So if you use this assembler with assembly language, your program may be looking like this. Say org000h, then move a comma 20, then move r0 comma hash 30, then end. This end and org, they are assembler directives. So every assembler will have their own directives. In a generic way, we can represent org for a starting address and for end of application. Likewise, we have so many assembler directives. Okay, these are few, right? Let's go with writing a number basis. In 8051, we are very specific to 8051 now. In literal values, these literal values, the fixed numeric used in the code, for example 30, this is a number which is fixed in the code. Okay, then these numbers starts with the hash symbol. This is with respect to 8051. So every immediate number which is given in the instruction has to start with a hash symbol here. So now we have different number base say numbers, like we have decimal, we have hexadecimal, we have binary, and we have octal. It is possible to give immediate number in all these three formats, right? So for example, if it is a decimal, we need not mention anything. Like if we say move a comma hash 30, since it is not mentioned anything, then this number is treated as a decimal number. Whereas if you want to make this as a hexadecimal number, then it should be converted to say that number should be attached with a letter H. For example, here you see move a comma hash E1H. This E1H number is a hexadecimal number. So the content of accumulator will be loaded with EH, which is hexadecimal in nature. So similarly, it is possible to have a binary number. Then that binary number, if you are giving say move a comma hash 11110, that is it has to say end with B. Oh, this alphabet will tell that this number is a binary number. Similarly, octal number can be given with the letter Q. So it is 36Q. That means this 36 is an octal. Then microcontroller will treat that this 36 is an octal number that will be stored in accumulator. So these are number systems which are used and how we can access into a microcontroller 8051. Let's look at a very basic example. The following code copies the data from R0 to accumulator. This is how. We start with org, originate, so starting address 00, then say move R0 comma hash 33, then move a comma R0. So here immediate number, which is hexadecimal now. Here you see this H is mentioned here. So this 33 is a hexadecimal number. This hexadecimal number will be moved to accumulator. The content of accumulator will be moved to sorry, say content this 33 number will be moved to R0 register, and R0 register will be moved to accumulator. Then here this using end assembly directive will be ending the code here. So if you look at before execution, these are the content of R0 and accumulator. Then after execution, we see then R0 register is with loaded with 33 and accumulator A is also loaded with 33. This is how the execution takes place. Similarly, let's look at example 2. The following code copies the data from R0 of bank 0 register to R0 of bank 3 via accumulator. What happens here? org00 move r0 comma hash 33. This copies the 33 hexadecimal data into r0. Then content of r0 will be copied to accumulator. Now here if you are not mentioning anything and we are accessing r0, the default bank that will be selected is bank 0. So if you are mentioning here r0 without mentioning anything prior to this instruction, then this r0 register, which is of 8 bit, will belongs to bank 0, right? Then if you want to access different banks or different registers of different bank, then before executing that instruction we have to use this one, set bit PSW3 and PSW4. This indicate that these are the bits in program status world, that is fourth and fifth bit. We say RS0 and RS1. If RS0 and RS1 are 1 and 1, that means third bank will be selected. So here I am making PSW.3 as 1 and PSW.4 as 1. That means RS0 and RS1 of PSW in 8051 are set to 1. That means bank 3 will be selected. Now after that, whatever registers you are using, those registers will belong to the bank 3. So here content of accumulator will be moved to R0 registers. This R0 register is a bank 3 register, right? So here before executing this code, these are the content R0, which is of bank 0, then accumulator, and R0 of bank 3 now. So here content will be 00. Then after execution, if you see, then this 33 will be moved to R0, then R0 will move to accumulator. This is 33, this is also 33. Hence this is how we'll be accessing different registers of different banks. Coming to the arithmetic operation like adding content of here, this following code shows add the data from R0 to the accumulator. So org00 now take immediate data into R0 register, take another immediate data 22 into accumulator. If you say add space a comma r0, this adds the content of r0 to accumulator and the result will be in accumulator. Let's look at this. Before executing this code, it is R0 contains 0 and accumulator also contains 0. let's look at after execution. After execution, see, before addition, that means up to here, when these two instructions are executed, before starting of this code, R0 and R0 and accumulator were 0. Whereas after executing these two instructions, the content of R0 and accumulator are going to be 33 and 22. Both are hexadecimal. Then it is after addition, after execution, then R0 will remain the same, whereas the content of accumulator will be, now it is addition of 22 plus 33, it will be 55. So this is how the data is updated after addition. Similarly, subtraction, this is before execution. Here the same thing, move R0 comma hash 33, 33 is taken into accumulator, 44 is taken in, sorry, 33 is taken into R0 register, 44 is taken into accumulator. Then the content of R0 will be subtracted from accumulator, right? So before execution of this code, content of R0 and accumulator are 0 0. Then after executing these two data movement instruction and before subtraction, the content of these two registers are R0 is 33 and R accumulator is 44. Now after subtraction, this is what is the difference. So accumulator contains the difference between 44 and 33 now, whereas the content of R0 remains the same. Similarly, multiplication. Multiplication with the data in B register and with the accumulator. It's before execution, A and B are same, that is 0 0. Then let's load data 3, hexadecimal data 3 into B and 2 into accumulator. When you say multiply, these 2 and 3 will be multiplied and the result will be in accumulator and B register. So LSB of this operation will be in accumulator and MSB of this operation will be in B register. So let's look at the content of A and B. Before execution of this complete code is 0 0. After executing these two instructions, move A comma move B comma hash 3 and move A comma hash 2, it is 2 and 3. Okay, this is before multiplication. After multiplication, accumulator is 6 and B register will be 0. Since after multiplication, both the registers will be replaced with the result. Similarly, the division, it is divide A by B or say A by B. So we have to take data into A and B. This is before execution. The content of A is 0 and B will be 0. I have taken B as 3 and A as 2. So I'm going to divide, divide A by B. Oh, so it will be like, say, just reverse way. It will be 2 and 3. So in this case it's going to be accumulator will be 3 and B register will be 2, right? Then here B register contains 2 and A register contains 3. So there will be division A by B, that is 2 by 3. Then when we divide it, then here quotient will be 1 and remainder also will be 1. So before division, this is the content. After division, the content of A and B are replaced as 1 and 1. Okay, so this is our division. Similarly, logical operations are also possible with 8051. Logical operations like OR operation, to have OR operation between the data in a B register and accumulator. Let it is loaded with 20 hexadecimal number, which is 001000, and similarly B register is with this. Then we say OR ORL A comma B. So once these are loaded with this, then will be logical OR operation which will be performed. Hence, this is the result. Similarly, we can have AND operation between A and B. Here the content which is to be logically ANDed can be stored, one into accumulator, other into B register. Then we say ANL A comma B. Then this result, this data will be logically ANDed with this data. Hence accumulator now contains 0 0 result. Similarly, logical XOR operation, the same data like data in accumulator, data in B register, then XRL A comma B, and here XOR operation will be performed between these two data, and the result will be here, and that will be stored into accumulator. So these are logical operations which are possible in case of 8051. So let's work with these assembly language in the Keil software, that I'll discuss in next lecture, that is lecture 3. So to summarize, the assembly language programming of 8051, uh, machine language, here machine language involves set of ones and zeros, whereas assembly language is a pseudo English kind of representation. We have a mnemonics for writing an application. Using mnemonics we will be writing applications. So these are different advantages of assembly language programming in generic. These are different disadvantages of assembly language programming in generic. And this is a syntax of writing an assembly language, which has a label, opcode, operands or addresses, and the comments. And we go for assembler. Assembler is a software which converts assembly language to a machine language. Then we have different assembler directives also. This is a typical code how it looks for 8051 assembly language programming. We say org00. This is an end application. Here we'll be having assembly code, and these are assembler directives. So this is how we'll be writing application. Different numbers can be given to 8051 registers, like decimal, hexadecimal, binary, and octal with different trailing letters. And this is a typical code. Yes, so we will stop here, and I'll explain about how we can do these assembly language programming in Keil software in the subsequent classes. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Hope it's end.